Welcome to the Mel Carmine podcast. Before we begin, I have something you need to see. 11 years ago in Costa Rica, I took a photograph that changed my life forever. I don't claim to speak to God, but I do believe He gave me a mission. Let me show you the photo, then you decide. If you're serious about protecting and growing your wealth, pay close attention. Looking to acquire XRP, I can help. Minimum purchase is $10,000 and there is no maximum. Whether you're investing $10,000 or $10 million, text me directly at 786-704-8817. And while you're at it, ask us how a religious irrevocable trust can get you off the grid and fully protect your assets and investments. Interested in gold and silver? For extremely competitive prices, visit carminesgold.com. Our minimum order is $50,000 and there is no maximum. We can handle virtually any size transaction. Then visit QFS1776.com for exclusive merchandise, links to our social media, and a library of 100% free videos explaining the new financial system millions are following. No hype, no paywall, just information. Don't miss our 5-star documentary everyone is talking about. Dear Mr. President, show me the money. Visit dearmrpresident.net and ask yourself, what if we show you irrefutable, irrevocable evidence in our movie that everyone with a social security number is worth hundreds of millions of dollars? Do we have your attention? The link is in the description below. Finally, join our official Telegram groups and be aware of fake Mel Carmine accounts. If anyone tells you that you must register your XRP with the so-called quantum financial system, it's a scam. Now subscribe and share this episode with someone you care about. Turn up the heat on these scammers and let's get to work. Also, scan the QR code and opt in so you don't miss any amazing workshops at Staying Alive in Cape Canaveral. Now, here's your host, Mel Carmine. Well, if you want to know some of the channels that I like to indulge in when I'm home relaxing and I don't want to think too much, this is definitely one of them. Look, Florida is definitely going to become a powerhouse. They're going to lead the entire country with getting rid of property taxes, and this happens to be one of my personal favorite channels here in Florida. I believe the gentleman's from St. Petersburg. You can go give him a follow. His name of the channel is Grant Warrington. And we're going to listen to what he has to say about DeSantis and what's about to happen here in Florida. Let's listen.
DeSantis just ended Florida's dirtiest property tax trick, and these two new laws are going to make raising your taxes and hiding where the money's going nearly impossible. And you better believe everybody's panicking, because for the first time in Florida history, the power's shifting back to the people. In this video, I'll show you the sneaky formula local governments have been running for years to jack up your property taxes, the nonprofit that's been using your own tax money to keep you broke, and the trap DeSantis set that local governments just walked right into before the biggest vote of your life. Let's jump in. Local governments in Florida have been running the dirtiest trick for years that let them raise your property tax rate automatically. No vote, no press conference. You just find out when a bigger bill shows up in your mailbox. Here's how it works. Your property tax bill comes down to two things: your home's taxable value and something called a millage rate. Think of the millage rate as a multiplier. Here in St. Pete, the combined millage rate is about 20 mils, meaning for every $1,000 of taxable value, you owe 20 bucks in taxes. So take a $300,000 taxable value, divide it by 1,000, multiply it by 20, and you get a $6,000 property tax bill. Pretty simple, right? Every year, your home goes up in value. And when it does, your tax bill goes up automatically, even if nobody touches the millage rate. Say your home went up $50,000 last year. With a homestead and the Save Our Homes cap in place, that's still an extra $180 out of your pocket. But here's where the trick comes in. Cities and counties figured out a way to get even more money by bumping up the millage rate. And even a tiny bump of just 1/10 of a mil on that same home adds another $30 a year in property taxes. That's on every house, every single year. And nobody notices in year one until 10 years go by and your bill's doubled and everybody's wondering, what the hell just happened? According to DeSantis, in 2019, local cities and counties collected
Well, I'm going to leave the link down below. You get the idea. Look, the bottom line is we live in a very crooked nation. The United States of America, I think, wrote the book on every scam out there. And I can tell you that the jig is up. I'm going to tell you right now, it starts here in Florida and heads will roll. I don't give a shit if you're related to these scumbags, if you live next door. Just by living next door to these scumbags and not reporting that you live next door to a piece of shit, you should do 3 years in prison. Minimum, automatic. Okay? As far as I'm concerned. These people are just nothing more than blood-sucking leeches. They don't know how to make money their own way by being a real entrepreneur. They got to suck off all of us to make money. And they make a ton of money, and they have lavish vacations, and they spend money like crazy, and they travel on private jets on your dime. And it's going to come to an abrupt end. I love this guy. Grant, you're doing a great job. If you ever want to come on my show, just send me a text message, 786-704-8817. I'll gladly have you on. He does a lot of shows on Florida. I think this guy has got his finger on his pulse. Look, taxation is theft. We know that. Why in the world would you want to own a house, but it sits on the property that the government says that if you don't pay your property taxes, we come and confiscate your house? Why would you want to do that? And nobody says nothing. Everybody just goes along with the program. Nobody wants to make any waves. I wish all you people, I really do. I wish that you were all like me. I'm a hellraiser. I am not a very well-liked guy. As a matter of fact, I had a call today from some guy. I won't mention his name. Sometimes I hang out in one of the rooms. He's an Italian guy. I'll just say that he's from one of the 5 boroughs in New York. And he said, Mel, you're not a very well-liked guy. There's a lot of people hating on you. And you know what? The more people hate on me, the more haters I have, the greater I get. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. So, but anyway, I want to go through some of the videos here that I want to show you guys. Now, I don't know, but this guy, it happens to be on his channel. This cannot be AI. It looks real. This guy is allowed to talk about communism. He's allowed to talk about that, you know, Facebook and YouTube and all these platforms are all communist platforms, which they are. And he's allowed to grow unimpeded, not unimpeded, but he's got, you know, like 800,000, 900,000 people following him. So we're going to go ahead and show you this video here. His name is Matt Moore TV. That's the name of his channel. And let's go ahead and play this one for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the top Trump derangement syndrome members of the deep state just got arrested. Take a look.
John Bolton held a number of positions of extraordinary public trust in the United States government, culminating in being the national security advisor to the President of the United States. John Bolton betrayed that trust in extraordinary fashion by unlawfully retaining and unlawfully disclosing the information with which he was entrusted. Kelly provided a very good summary of that today for those of you that weren't in the change of plea, and the United States will have more to say about that at sentencing. But today's plea should be a warning to anyone at any level of government that if you leak America's secrets or if you mishandle them, the United States Department of Justice, National Security Division, and our U.S. attorney partners will be there to prosecute you.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, they all need to go down. Fauci, McCabe, Comey, Clapper, Rice, all of them. You know, what is this guy Fauci and this guy Bill Clinton doing still walking the face of the earth? What is George Soros doing walking the face of the earth? Why isn't this guy in jail? I want to know. I know Juanito knows something because he walked Tina Peters into Donald Trump's office, and Tina Peters took a whole bunch of pictures with Donald Trump just a couple of days ago. That's all over the internet. So we know that Donald Trump has definitely a relationship with Juan O. Savine, and I want to know what Nino knows. Nino says, I wish I could tell you what, you know, so-and-so told me. I can't tell you, but I want to tell you. And I just sent them a message. I said, Juanito, I think you should trust me. I said, I think there's no secrets between us. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you tell me a secret, and if I violate your trust one time, you never tell me anything ever again. Simple, right? He hasn't replied yet, but he sent me a video. I maybe want to play that one. Boy, let's see where that one is. I'll have to send it to myself and then play it that way. Hold on. Just give me a second. Copy. I'll send it to Amber. Paste. Boom. All right, let me go retrieve it. Here it is. Look what it says. By the way, on 4th of July, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees. You don't think Juanito's connected, folks? Let's look at this video.
This week,
All right, let's get this queued up and let's share the screen.
And this week, we look back on 250 years of glorious freedom, and we took so much time and so much effort. And by the way, on July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything. It's going to be 107. But you know what? They also predicted the fight that we had 3 weeks ago was unbelievable at the White House. They said
107 degrees, guys. What do you think? He was very instrumental in getting Tina Peters out of jail. 107, working together with yours truly, our POTUS, got Tina Peters out of prison. And he was relentless. Okay? So I can tell you that here's one of the reasons why I'm in the wellness business. Okay? This is one of the reasons right here. I'm going to show you something here that will blow your mind. Here we go. Boom, boom.
Wellness tourism. Wellness tourism is an industry nearing $1 trillion. Okay. And if you have no idea what this is, just think of this season of The White Lotus. We're talking device detoxes, therapy, energy healings, and those examples aren't even that absurd. The hospitality industry is undergoing a fundamental shift as longevity and wellness take center stage in consumer preferences. And if there's one brand that has fully leaned into this shift, it's Equinox with their Equinox Hotel. Their entire brand concept is built around high-performance living, turning a standard hotel stay into a full-body reset. Forget continental breakfasts and over-chlorinated pool. Equinox Hotel is all about cold plunges, infrared saunas, cryotherapy, IV drips, and, of course, state-of-the-art fitness clubs. Their tagline is, for those who want it all. And can't you just hear Jennifer Coolidge saying that tagline? R.I.P. And I don't really see this as a niche trend. I see this as kind of the future of hospitality. Luxury hotels are being reimagined as longevity retreats. Resorts are swapping out bottomless brunches for breathwork workshops. All this to say, wellness isn't really an add-on anymore, it's the main event. Because the new status symbol isn't excess, it's optimization. Okay, have you...
I will tell you, folks, in no uncertain terms, you're going to see this. Probably a year, no more than 2 years. There's $180 trillion that goes into the medical industry every year. That $180 trillion is about to do a 180-degree turn and come to us, the wellness centers. What they're missing is the scalar biophotonic. They're missing the med beds. They're missing a lot of stuff. But anyway, and we have all that stuff at Staying Alive in Cape Canaveral, Staying Alive with 2 E's, stayingalive.com. And I can tell you that we have stuff that you put your feet on and it heats up your entire body. You can feel the heat up going all the way up to your chest. It's really wild. The circulation that happens during that is absolutely unbelievable. The other thing that we have, which is really cool, which I sleep with it at night when I'm there overnight, is the Brown's gas. Absolutely amazing stuff. I mean, look, talking about rejuvenating the inside. We have, technically speaking, age reversal technology. We have a literally laminated piece of paper of someone who did a blood work before and after staying in the system for 30 days. And basically her telomeres grew by 23%. We don't make that up. That's a third-party lab out of Houston that did the study, not us. And you can go and do your own study. So we got it in spades. We got anti-aging technology sitting right in Cape Canaveral. And I'll tell you what, the reality is that we have people that are coming now from all over the United States because of my show. They want to come meet Mel Carmine. That is wild to me, But anyway, I welcome the business. I welcome me. I see many times people that my staff will call me, hey, you got people that just rolled into town. They just drove from Kentucky for like 9.5 hours. It's 11:30 at night. I'm in bed. What am I going to say? I can't make it. I jump into my clothes and I do the right thing and I go down and say hello. And it turns out to be like an hour and 45-minute conversation, and I get to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, but that's happened many, many, many times. So let me just keep rolling here, show you some other more videos that I watch that I enjoy when I'm relaxing, so to speak. Okay, here's another one that I love watching stuff on entrepreneurship. I did not come to America to become an employee. I did not want to work for anybody else. I got fired from every job with the exception of one when I worked for Copy World in Lodi, New Jersey for Frank Berardi, who after like 6 weeks of saying, hey, I'm coming in late. I'm not really performing that well. You're paying me $2,000 a week. Back in the 80s, that was a tremendous amount of money. And he said to me, Mel, this is not my line of business. I'm a gangster. Because you see the van across the street? I said, yeah. He Because, well, they're recording us. You've been in the films with me for the last few weeks. So congratulations. That was the only guy I worked with because I get along with gangsters for some reason. Don't ask me why. Maybe because I was raised in the streets. But every job, Alamo, the only job I did like was when I was 17 years old. I worked for Baskin Robbins and I ate a lot of ice cream. So it was a great job. That was my friend Jerry, who owned the pizza shop in the ShopRite in Elmwood Park, New Jersey, right like 2 doors down. But anyway, let's get to entrepreneurship. Here we go.
People misunderstand about entrepreneurs and what it actually takes to build something from nothing.
It's funny because I think much of what Shannon found attractive in me was what scares her to death and frustrated her through the business. Entrepreneurs are a little bit crazy. We have a delusion about us. We see things differently. We see challenges as actually opportunities. When people are fearful, we have a tendency to get excited for opportunities that we can solve those problems. We are not risk averse, and as a result, we end up accomplishing things that maybe most people would say you're delusional. There's no way. And yet we do it anyway. And I have no shortage of stories of people that were close to me that thought I was nuts doing what I was doing. And one of them I was married to. So I think if you are going to be in a relationship with an entrepreneur, you need to remind yourself that they're crazy, which is that excitement that you probably fell in love with. And you need to give them that outlet to be able to go do what they do. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be late nights. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be stress. There are going to be wild peaks and wild valleys, but that's how they're wired.
Don't be the wet blanket. Definitely championing them and putting them back together, because so many times it's so much easier to say, well, I told you that was a crazy idea. I told you that wasn't going to work. But for every 5 losses, there's 100 wins that we don't talk about and don't celebrate like we should. So talking about being each other's superpowers, that's what he could have used in a wife back then. That certainly would have gotten us a lot farther, a lot faster. But we like to learn our lessons the hard way.
Having a support system, I can't stress it enough. If you don't have a wife that's supportive, you just literally diminish your chances by about 80% in making it in entrepreneurship. It just doesn't happen, that way. It happens when you have 2 people that have a common goal, that see the same thing. And we're both crazy. Amber and I are both nuts. We work 17, 18 hours a day, every day. We work 7 days a week. And we don't mind working because we see the big picture. We see that this country will get put back on the rails. We see the IRS going away. Talking about the IRS, I think we got another video here queued up, ready to go for the IRS, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see where it is. Not that one. This one. Here we go. And, I do believe the IRS it's got to go away. Has to go away.
Come be realized or received before it can be taxed. So if they can't take it out in withholding, then what's going to happen, I guess, is you would have to write a check at the end of the year for all of that money. That's when you're going to have a massive change in this country.
I'm here for this.
That's when, if the Supreme Court rules in a certain way here, this could be very good for the American people, because people will understand how much money is being extracted from you for no good reason.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's
but they
exciting.
give it back to you, Pat, at the end of the year.
Yeah,
they
right.
Give it back to you.
Yeah, that's weird, because I always have to give them more at the end of the year. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, they take and they take and they take and they take, and then at the end of the year, they take some more. Must income be...
Isn't that true, man? It's like, and most people don't realize, if you're just getting awake now and you understand that the IRS is a corporation that was started in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Well, I'll repeat that for you newbies that are just waking up right now. You've been living under a rock is what really the question I should be asking you, but I'm not. Do you realize that all of that money that you pay, and I could prove it with irrefutable, irrevocable, undeniable evidence, beyond a shadow of any doubt, that every red cent you pay in income tax, not one red cent stays in this country. It all goes abroad. It goes to the UK, the monarchy. So we're about to celebrate. So you got the 250th anniversary, get ready to celebrate 4th of July. We ain't free. That's a made up story. That's a bullshit story. All of our money still goes to the monarchy in the UK. We're paying for our freedom. Donald Trump's going to put an end to it. And a lot of that money also goes to the Vatican. Go look it up. Don't take my fucking word for it. Go look it up. It's very real. And you people just blindly, and you know, I did the movie, Dear Mr. President, show me the money. Look, I'm going to show you something else. This will blow your mind, okay? I paid for this ad. Resume to, let me see here, share. Where's the share button? Here we go. Share. All right. I paid for this ad on X.com. I got a whopping 2,100 views. I'm supposed to be getting 7,000 to 10,000 views a day. I'm paying $10 a day, $10 or $11 a day, forget what it is. And I'm supposed to get between 6,000 to 7,000 to 10,000 a day. And it's been stuck at 2,100. I sent them nasty emails. They have not replied back. So X.com is part of the problem. They don't want you to know about the fact that you're worth $100 million, $300 million, $500 million. They don't want you to know that. What I'm looking to do now is this. I want to do a sequel to this. And so, Mr. Goodluck and your team there, if you're listening, listen very carefully. I want to do a sequel to this, but it's going to be I want to take my time. I want people who have literally a Bruce Lee 10th degree black belt in Kung Fu, Karate, whatever, in this subject, the straw man. I want you to go into the courtroom. They're going to tell you you're not allowed to record, and you're going to tell them, bullshit. You don't tell us what to do. We own the courtroom. We own the bench you sit on. We own the black robe you wear. We own it all. We have inalienable rights, and one of them is freedom of speech. And freedom of speech means you can record. So do not let them bamboozle you into not recording. You can record. You should record. You must record. And I want you to record. And I want for everybody who's really good at this to go to the websites and put in the CUSIP number and the social security number and the name and all of that stuff and show the money. And I want to see the expression on these people's faces, the bailiffs, the judges, the prosecutors. I want you to send me the footage. The more compelling you can make it, do not go on the other side of that fence. Once you're on that side, you're in their jurisdiction. You want to stay on this side of the bar. You don't want to get inside the bar because then they'll have their day with you. You want to stay on this side of the bar and go do your homework on that. But I want you guys who are all common law, black belts to go into court and tell them, hey, how do you answer to this? And show them example after example after example after example. Show them the numbers. I want to see their faces. I want class action lawsuits on these motherfuckers, and I want our fucking money. And I know you do too. This is why you need to take the movie and spread it out to everybody. I get so pissed off. It's so easy to just listen. That's all your job is, right? You got a regular job. You got money coming in. You got a side hustle or 2 side hustles. You got money coming in every day. Say, you know what? I'm going to take Mel up on his offer. I'm going to send this to 10 people, and I'm going to tell them to send it to 10. And everybody, if we could get 1 million people to watch this movie, I could take that $6 million. I'm not going to go buy Ferraris and Lamborghinis and go hang out and have freaking parties on the beach and get drunk with tequila. I'm beyond that. Put me to the test one time. If I screw you, then you come back and say, you know what? You pitched us so well. We followed you. We got you the money, and you screwed us. We're never going to do business with you ever again. You want to give your money to YouTube and Facebook, or would you rather to give it to the pizza guy? I think you do better with the pizza guy, to be quite honest with you. Okay? Let's get 1 million people to watch the movie. $6, that's $6 million. I could do a lot of projects with $6 million. One of the projects that's already practically in motion, we're just waiting for one more investor. And then we're going to pull the trigger, and it's a go. One more, okay? And we're going to take YouTube down to their knees. I didn't say that. AI said that. AI said if you do exactly what's on paper, and it works exactly the way it's on digital paper, and it will, and I won't tell you how, but this is going to cost probably close to $500,000 when it's all said and done, calculating Murphy's Law into it. But don't you want your freedom of speech? Because that's one of the things I will absolutely restore. Don't you podcasters want to be treated with respect? We're going to treat you with a lot of respect. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I will tell you this. 3 weeks before we launch, we're putting together right now as we speak, a movie that explains pretty much without giving away the secret sauce recipe on how we're doing it, some of the components of what it is that we're about to unleash. And I believe everybody in America is going to come. And I can't tell you why I want to, but I can't, because someone else is going to beat me to the punch and copy me. And we won't have that. I want to be the guy in charge. I'm going to be the guy that dictates rules, regulations, and conditions. Because when everybody realizes that this is a much better mousetrap, because you guys were able to sell 1 million movies, you told 10, who told 10, who told 10, who told 10, 9 times, we reach 1 billion people. You get, if you 1%, not even 1%, 1/4 of 1% of 1 billion people buy the movie, voila, you got the money. Let's stop giving our money to the wrong people and then expect the fucking right thing to happen. You think YouTube is going to wake up tomorrow and say, "Oh, we're going to allow people to speak freely." You're out of your fucking mind. You lost your ever-loving mind. It will snow in Miami 19 feet in August before that happens. It's not going to happen. You know what's going to happen is this. These cabal bastards have created vacuums, many vacuums. Social media is just one vacuum that I'm going to address, and I'm going to absolutely strangle them. They're never going to forget me. They're going to have a reason to say this guy with a big ego came along and kicked our ass. And yes, I did, and I will. But the reality is there's so many vacuums out there. There are people complaining about the food being poisonous. Go start a farmer's market. Start growing your own food. Get your kids involved. Get your friends' kids involved. Start having excess amount of food that you grow on your properties. If you have somebody that's got a large piece of property, hire a bunch of Mexicans. I'll bring in Jim Gale that teaches you how to grow organic food. You have excess food, which is exactly what we want you to have. Start a farmer's market on Saturday and Sunday. I will come and patronize you. I will buy you potatoes and tomatoes and carrots and celery and lettuce and whatever it is you're selling, because I don't want to give it to the big box stores. I want to give it to you. You see, that's how you kill them. You redirect the fucking money. See, I get passionate about this because somebody has to do this. You guys all need gold and silver. Why don't you buy it from Mel Carmine? Because Mel Carmine's going to take the money and put it to some good use. You think this is just going to happen on its own? No. This is going to be people with testosterone, men with real balls, okay, with big cojones, are going to stand up and do what they got to do. And if enough of you stand up and say, okay, I'm going to handle the food. Okay, yeah, the clothes are poisonous. They got polyester and they got plastic going into your bloodstream and it's killing you. They have accelerated the killing machine on all levels because the shot didn't work fast enough during that 19th year, 2019, right? So now they have to figure out a way. Okay, see, the chemtrails have slowed down. I haven't seen any chemtrails in Florida. I see some remnants, which means they're probably spraying very, very late at night, like 4 o'clock in the morning. But I think that they're tapering it down. I think Donald Trump is doing something about that. Okay, you guys are engineers. Invent some freaking quiet filter that sucks up air out of the atmosphere and filters the air. Big ionic filters that we could put on top of skyscrapers all over the world. And I guarantee you, in probably 17 weeks, we'll have clean air to breathe. The radiators on a car, let's redesign those radiators, and when they're moving through the atmosphere and the air is flowing through the radiator, it gets filtered. Gee, what a thought. I can give you example after example after example. Call a textile company. Say, hey, I want you guys to sell me some hemp material. I want to make some hemp t-shirts. And I will buy the hemp t-shirts from you. You see how simple it is? It's not that difficult. They created a vacuum. You got to hear to where the sucking sound is. And when you find the sucking sound, go and suck some money and put it in your pocket and start a business and create jobs doing the right thing. And let's put these bastards out of business. So you solve the food problem. You solve the clothes problem. You solve the free speech problem. Let's bring back the United States, the Republic. Sign it into law. Let's make Donald Trump do that and make him make the announcement on mainstream media, because that's the only way it's believable. Because if you hear it here, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, right? Well, we are the new mainstream media, make no mistake about it. Now, so that you know, the movie did fantastically well, even better than I expected. But we have such big projects, so I have to go back and talk about the movie. We have such big projects. One in particular is to make a movie about Donald Trump coming down the escalator, him being approached by the 200 generals to run for president, et cetera, et cetera. That's going to be a long movie, probably a series, or it's going to be like a 3-hour movie that's like a three-part series. I don't know. But that's going to take quite a bit of money to produce, number one. The social media will take quite a bit of money to produce, number two. And so with that said, I like to close it out with some comedy because it's always good to close out with some funny stuff. And I just saw this and I think that you guys will appreciate it. We got a lot of funny rednecks down in my neck of the woods, that's for sure. But anyway, guys, let's get as many people as possible to watch the movie. We've gotten, like I said, countless 5-star reviews. And if you watch the movie, you'll agree. It will set you back $5.89, by the way. So, but anyway, let's watch this real quick. And let's go to, here we go. Get ready to laugh.
Me. To the ground. Okay. I'm telling you right now, bud, I'm the wrong dude. Okay? What the hell? That's what it is, bud. All right. Listen, I don't want to hurt you. Kumite. Have you ever heard of a Kumite? 1987 Kumite champion right here, bud. These right here, go that way. Threaten me.
That's funny. That is funny. Screw it. We got one more funny one. One last one. And then I'll say good night to all you guys, and we'll see you probably on the next one.
This is your Florida weather alert. Conditions are dangerous right now. Stay inside and away from windows.
Guys, we'll catch you on the next one.